a potpourri of
Yeah.
excellent guests.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Kindness Chronicles, where once again we hope to inject the world with a dose of the Minnesota kindness that it desperately needs. Back in the basement studio, we got Jeff back there working the board. Hi,
Hey, John,
Jeff.
how are you?
Fantastic. My hips are a little messed up, but we'll talk about that later. We got KG. KG is back. He's on the phone. We don't have a wild game tonight. How are you, KG?
I'm really good.
Look at that.
We're kind of bridging the gap between the regular season and the postseason. And, of course, we only do round one. No matter how far the team goes, our broadcast schedule ends here at the end of the month.
Oh,
So the non-travel schedule for me will mean more time with you guys, probably more time in Matamidi. So it's all good.
fantastic. Look at that.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I think we're going to a Twins game, some like May something.
Yeah, we are.
May
And how about
19th.
those Twins, by the way?
Hey, how about
Best record in the American League. Who saw that coming? Not me.
No, that is big fun. But you know what? It's been a while since we've had you on. Lots been happening. Let's talk about the Minnesota Wild, because that seems to be where you're spending most of your time these days. How you feeling about the team? How you feeling about the playoffs?
I'm really excited. I got to be honest. 20th year, as we've talked about a couple different times here throughout the season on our show, this is by far and away the best team that I've covered. It's not even close. And we were talking yesterday as we were getting ready for the final regular season game. This will be the first time in probably 6 or 7 years we've gone into the playoffs with all of our star players. You know, the last couple of years, 1 year we're missing Eck, 1 year we're missing Kirill, 1 year we didn't have Brodin or Spurgeon. They're fully healthy right now.
God, knock
And I
on
know
wood.
it's a tough matchup. Yeah, exactly. But I feel really good about it. I know Dallas is an outstanding team, but I really think this team is capable of making a significant run.
You know,
Awesome.
they talk about you gotta have a couple of guys on your team, quote unquote guys, and they got like 5 or 6 top 60, top 75 players in the NHL. I noticed that Boldy and Kirill are both in the top 10 for goal scoring this year for the entire NHL, which is super
Yeah.
fun. I think Kirill ended up with 47.
And Boldy not far behind. I think he had 44 or 45. And they were, I think, 5 different teams in the league out of 32 had 2 guys that posted 40 or more goals. And, you know, you think about the Stanley Cup, and, you know, for people that have watched hockey, I've done it for a long time. I go back to the late 70s, early 80s with the Islanders, and then, of course, Gretzky and the Oilers. But when you think about teams that win the Cup, they have stars. The Cup seems to find superstar players. And so when you have a Matt Boldy, when you have a Kirill Kaprizov, when you have a Quinn Hughes, when you have a Brock Faber, they're the type of guys that end up lifting that trophy. And so for a long time, you know, early on they had Marian Gaborik. Then they had, you know, Parise was kind of a fringe superstar. Suter was a really good player. But this is a completely different level of stardom. And so it makes you feel like this window in time, this next 3, 4, 5 years, this is when it can happen. And for Minnesota hockey fans of my ilk, close to 60 years old, going back to the North Star days, we're due. Like
Bring it on.
We're due a cup run. Let's do this.
You know, what's funny is I have become so intrigued that I'm embarrassed to say that I went and I looked at the status of the contracts for the Minnesota Wild. And man, did they sign Boldy to a hell of a deal.
How about that one?
I mean, that was a good one. Faber is locked up until like 2020 or 2033.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
They got ahead of both those guys.
that is a lifetime contract there. Are they going to be able to keep Hughes?
I think they are. And, you know, getting to know Quinn a little bit this year, I think he really likes it here. And it's really cool. We talked about it last night on the game broadcast side. There was a poll done in the last couple of weeks by The Athletic, and it polled all these NHL players about which NHL team takes the best care of their players. And Minnesota ended up being the number one team on that list. They have a brand new facility that was built in the last 5 years over at Tria Rink, where they have all their practices, and the workout facility, the kitchen with the gourmet chefs available when they get to the rink. They just text in their order. It's waiting for them before practice. And I will tell you this, the food on the planes, the hotels that this team stays at, it's gone to a completely different level here in the last year. Bill Guerin needs permission from Craig Leopold to do this, but they have gone all in. And the one thing Billy Guerin told Craig Leopold is, if we're going to bring in guys like Quinn Hughes, if we're going to go out and get the best free agents, if we want to keep the guys we have, we don't have Florida weather. We don't have, LA or New York and that kind of cool vibe. But what we do have is the potential to take the best care of our players. And that word gets around. And I do think that's going to play a significant role in obviously it's a good team and Quinn wants to win, but that also there's a layer there where this team goes above and beyond. And I do think that matters.
Yeah, regardless of how much money you're making, you do like to be pampered, You do like to have. I'm sorry, did you say something, Jeff?
No, it was there was a little sound.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. Wow. So let's talk about some of the new guys and what we think of them. Tell us about Nick Foligno. He seems like a hell of a guy.
It's funny. You get to know Marcus, and you're like, "Oh my God, this guy's the coolest guy. He's funny. Everybody loves this guy." It was like the brother must be a dork. And then he comes in, and he's the same damn guy. Like he's found his role. He's found his niche. Last night he assisted on Hunter Hate's first NHL goal, and he gave him this big giant bear hug. And then I'm interviewing Hunter after the game, and he comes by, and he's trying to distract him. And he's just a fun-loving dude. He's a hard-working guy. He takes nothing for granted. He knows his role. He knows he's going to be probably a third or fourth line guy. He's going to be out there killing penalties. But he is kind of just like Marcus. He's beloved, and he's kind of a glue guy. He's one of those guys that likes to take care of his teammates. So a couple weeks ago, Boldy was in a scoring slump, and while we're in Detroit, and he was so frustrated that he couldn't score like in 4 or 5 games. He took a bunch of the guys to dinner and picked up the tab and said, "I know I'm going to score tomorrow now," and he did. So Nick Foligno hadn't scored a goal yet with the Wild on this last road trip. Took a bunch of the guys out to dinner, picked up the tab, and of course comes back home and scores a goal. And so that's kind of the way he rolls. He's a glue guy. To explain him, he's a guy that kind of brings people together.
Excellent. Michael Dempsey has entered the studio. Hello, Michael.
Hey, guys.
We got an early start. We got KG on the horn with us. We're talking a little Minnesota Wild. Sure. Tell me about that big dude, McCarron. He looks like a monster.
Well, the nickname is Big Sexy, so that already makes me smile. He's and the best part is for our viewers, he's 6'6", 6'7", and then you throw skates on him. And so the first time I interviewed him,
oh boy,
my poor camera guy, because I have a guy with a camera on his shoulder, kind of right there where I do the interviews. And so, he's focused on McCarron as he's answering my second or third question, and we're going to commercial break. And so he answers the question. I wish him good luck. He walks away, and I'm like, nope, keep going down here, a little lower.
A little lower.
Guy couldn't find me. So we had a little fun at my expense there. But he's a beast. This guy is physical. He can fight. We've seen him drop the gloves a couple different times, sticking up for his teammates. He's fantastic on the penalty kill. So the face-off dot, which has been a real problem for Minnesota, kind of an Achilles heel, he's great in that area. And I think between him and Foligno, those are significant upgrades on the penalty kill. Of course, when you look at Dallas and what this series is going to present, the last 2 times the Wild have played the Stars in the playoffs, the Dallas power play has killed Minnesota. And so those moves were made, I think, specifically to give the Wild a shot in the arm there. And I think that's the role where he's going to, I think, pay the most dividends.
And they're getting like league minimum. They're not making any money. It's amazing.
What's more amazing is the fact that you looked this up.
Oh God, I'm into it, man.
That's so good.
Tell me about Bobby Brink. Isn't he from Minnetonka?
He's a Tonka kid. He went and played at Denver University, so he's a pretty sharp kid. won a couple national championships because that's what the Denver Pioneers do. It feels like every year.
Apparently.
He's, I'll be honest on Bobby Brink. I like the upside he has because he's got offensive skill. He's a guy that you could, if you have a Johansson injury or you have an injury in the top 6 where you need a guy that can score goals, he's a guy you can pop in there. He hasn't caught fire yet. He hasn't, I don't think yet played to his absolute ceiling. He's had moments, Johnny, but he hasn't been, I would say McCarron and Foligno have made more of an impact in their month and a half with the team than Brink has. He's had pockets of really good play, and that's why you've seen him kind of shuffled in and out of the lineup. I don't think he's an absolute lock to be in there when game 1 comes around Saturday, but if the Wild are going to make a run, they're a legit contender, they end up winning a series or two and get to a conference final, or, if it's a dream scenario and they get to the Cup, all these guys are going to play a role because you're going to have injuries. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, I think it's exciting, KG, to watch. What the Wild are doing, and that's going to be a tough matchup. There's no doubt about it. I'm sure you guys already talked about goaltending.
No, we haven't.
Because that to me is, that's the big sort of toss up going in through the end of the season. It wasn't like there was a goalkeeper that was the standout, absolutely locked down. This is your number one, ride or die. It seemed to me like the goaltending was really up and down for both of the netminders. I don't know that, and then the McCarron thing, the mustache, right? He that for a guy that size, that mustache, that's what's distracting on the dot. He's
gonna throw guys off.
Oh my God, that stash! When I saw him for the first time, I just thought, is he in what was it, 1927? The series of stash is amazing. But about the goaltending, what do you think about that, KG?
Well, I'll tell you what, if like me, you follow social media on the hockey side, this town's been on fire because I think up to a couple weeks ago, everybody assumed that Philip Gustafsson would be the guy that gets game 1.
Right.
And you made a great point. Both guys have had really good years. They've got the combined best save percentage in the National Hockey League. They're probably the best 1-2 tandem. The problem the Wild have run into here now is in the last 2 weeks of the season, Jesper Wallsted's been unbelievably hot, and Gustafsson has struggled. I think in 6 of his last 7 starts, he gave up 4 or more goals. Yeah. And the real kicker is Gustafsson's got playoff experience and Wallsted does not. So he's played on a big stage and he's done well. He's played not only big minutes, but he's played really well in the playoffs. And so now you've got this decision where everybody's like, they've got to play Wally. They can't play Gus. And I think, and I could be wrong, but if I'm reading the tea leaves and listening to the general manager and listening to the coach, I think they're still going to give Gus game 1. And I don't know if I necessarily agree, but it isn't my decision to make. And I think that playoff experience does matter, no question. I think both guys, if the Wild are going to win this series, both guys are going to play. I do know that. And I think it'll be super interesting because in a series that's likely going to go 6 or 7, probably 7, you can't just throw a game away and say, well, he's the veteran, he deserves to play, and then you go out and get beat 5-1.
Yeah.
So it's not just about, keeping him happy. You've got a whole locker room full of players that are trusting you as a coaching staff and a general manager to give them the best chance to win. They deserve that. And the way Wally played last night, I don't know how you don't start him. So I think it's a big, big elephant in the room. I think everything else is great. They're rested. They're healthy. They can beat Dallas. They played great against them all year. They split the season series. But this goalie thing is a thing, and I think that's the biggest story between now and Saturday.
So two things along those lines. Have you considered going into Heinze's office and saying, Heinze, KG here, former goalie, state champion goalie. Yeah. You raised a trophy here in this, well, not exactly this stadium, but in one that was once here. Here's my suggestion. And number 2, the question is, and this is somewhat rhetorical, you know how they have the emergency third goaltender?
Don't even go there.
Have they ever considered? and what would that look like in this day and age? How do you feel you would fare? So let's say there's 40 shots on you. How many are you going to shut down?
It harkens back to that movie, The Benchwarmers, or there's one with Keanu Reeves where the Replacements is
the Replacements, yes.
And these NHL shots?
NHL
or these
shots.
Pee-wee B team?
These are NHL shots. They're not going to leave me into phase 40 because they're going to yank me after I let it in 10.
But you're the emergency third guy. There's not an emergency fourth guy unless they'd put
the best news. Yeah, but the best news is I work in the tunnel when I work home games, and there are those defibs, those clamps down there. They might come in handy.
The ka-chunks.
Yeah. They do have an emergency third goaltender that's there.
Guess who he is?
I
Don Beaupre's kid.
What?
Connor Beaupre. Connor Beaupre is the E-Bug goalie at Grand Casino Arena. Has been for a few years. In fact, when the Wild come off a road trip, and if they get in super late at night and some of the younger guys want to skate the next day, Marc-Andre Fleury's in one net and Connor Beaupre's in the other net. He gets pucks all the time. He's at practice at least 2-3 times a week.
No kidding.
And he is the guy. Huh. And Connor's probably 35, 40 years old, and he's a pretty good goalie. His dad was a legend. So, yeah, the old North Star, it's his kid.
Is Jules Malash, is he still around?
He is still around, but he's not around here.
Okay.
I think he still lives out in Pittsburgh. He was one of their goalie coaches for years with the Penguins, and then was a part of their scouting staff. So I think he's out east.
How about Bernie Parent? Is he still alive?
Oh, my goodness.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
He died?
He just died.
He did?
He died about 6 months ago, and it was a really sad deal because he had just been honored by the Flyers. And Bernie Parent takes you back to the 70s, the Broad Street Bullies. I mean, he's one of the great sports legends in that town. So that was a tough one for Philly fans.
And I saw Ken Dryden passed away a while ago. I mean, all the good ones.
Oh, my gosh.
We lost 3. It always happens in 3. We lost 3 during the season. Ed Giacomin.
Oh, yeah.
Ken
From the
Dryden,
Rangers, yeah.
And Bernie Parent. 3 legendary goalies all passed away. And, I remember vividly, guys, having those posters on my wall. Now, as I got a little older, when I was a kid, it was Ken Dryden, it was Bernie Parent, it was Billy Smith. Then all of a sudden it was Cheryl Teagues, and that was Bo Derek, and the rest.
Yeah. So
how did they look in a goalie outfit? I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So here's a question:
Well played.
when Ken Dryden and Bernie passed away, and things go in threes, were you checking your pulse a little more often? Make sure everything. We didn't want 3 legends.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. No, it'd be more like if there were sideline reporters dropping. And being that I'm kind of a dinosaur, because as I look around,
you might be
league,
number 1 with a bullet.
Exactly, I might be the favorite. Last night I'm working the game in Anaheim as this. I mean, she is an awesome human being. Her name is Allie, and she's from Montreal. She's worked for Vegas, and now she works for Anaheim. So we always connect before and after the game. So after the game, she's coming over to give me a hug. I'm waiting to interview Nick Foligno, and I mean. If I'm a 3, she's a 12 on a 1 to 10 scale. And Marcus Foligno comes out. He gives me this look as I'm hugging her. And I kind of wink at him. And then he comes by her and he goes, "Hey, I like your shoes." I go, "You weren't looking at her goddamn shoes." It was great. It was fat. And she did have really good shoes. But,
so I just want to make sure that
beat that out.
You weren't going Eric Swalwell on the deal. No. You don't want to be. Do you even know who that is, KG?
No, but I'm sure it was a bad situation.
Oh, God.
He's
got
political turmoil right now.
It's not working out for him. Steve Brown has entered the conversation.
What's up?
Welcome to the Kindness Chronicles. There you go. So, KG, one last Minnesota Wild question that I have for you, and it's related to the new lad they got named Viking. What's Viking like?
How about this guy?
His name is Viking, for God's sake.
He is another 6'6" guy. Thanks for that. And he's a fun-loving kid. He's just out of college, played at Connecticut. Great dude. I mean, great dude. And, we were watching him kind of for the first time from the concourse level last night. I was watching the first period with Wes Walls. This kid can skate. For a guy that's 6'6", 220 pounds, he can really skate. Now, he's a little rough around the edges. He's still a player that just got done playing college hockey. But, yeah, I'm very encouraged. What a nice pickup. I think that kid's got a lot of potential.
So did he play at Yale?
He played at Connecticut.
UConn?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had a hockey team.
Tournament.
What?
Yeah, they've had a team for a few years, and they play out in Hockey East, and now they were an NCAA tournament team. It was a kind of a Cinderella story. It was their first trip to the tournament. They did get beat once they got to the tournament, but they had a good year. They beat Boston College. I think they tied Boston University. They had a good year, and this kid can play. He's going to be a guy that's going to start in Iowa next year, develop his skills, but early returns, he's played a couple games. He looks good.
That's fun. Yeah, it feels like the future is bright. It feels bright. Do you think they'll bring back
feel good.
McCarron and Foligno and these guys that they had that are all, UDAs?
I think they want to.
Okay.
But I do think a lot will depend on what happens here in the next weeks, months, whatever it's going to take.
Hopefully
here. I think
months.
a lot will depend on how they play. Months is what we're looking for. I just think of St. Paul. If we can get to like middle of May, late May, even early June, if they make a run to the Cup, you guys know from being a part of back when the Twins made those World Series runs, this town is craving something like that. The cargo shorts, the jerseys, the bars with the rooftop. I mean, St. Paul would be so much fun. So we can dream as we get set for game one. It's a long way off, but I think this team's got the potential.
Hey, did you say cargo shorts?
People still wear them, I'm telling you.
Well, no people I want to be around.
He was
not since Nam.
St. Paul.
He was going to say jorts. He was going to wear jorts.
I'm telling you, cargo shorts. People that come to the rink wearing a hockey jersey still wear them.
Okay.
Coming back.
Well, and they're sweaters. They're hockey sweaters.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you for correcting me.
Any other things regarding the Wild that you feel like you need to get off your chest? You probably had enough, huh?
Well, no, I think it's great that we're doing the show on the front end of the playoffs, because the hope is that we're going to do a bunch of shows as they make this run, and we can kind of live vicariously through what these guys are doing. The only thing I'll say about the Kindness Chronicles and the Wild is just getting to know this group specifically. What a great bunch of dudes. I think I've told you guys this multiple times. Like, Marcus and Nick Foligno had that charity they run, the Foligno Face-Off, that raises money through the V Foundation to fight cancer. That's the kind of guys that we've got in this locker room. They are charitable. They give their time. Watching them last night, after the game, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and there are these kids down by the Zamboni. Kirill, Faber, all the star players are out there taking pictures, signing autographs. Like, it's a really good bunch of guys. Like, if you were around them and you're like, oh, these are the kind of guys I'd want my kids to see and look up to, because they're the right kind of – you hate to use the term role model, but they're good human beings.
What kind of cars do they drive? Do you ever walk through the parking lot to see what kind of cars?
They don't drive a lot of Toyota Corollas, so I don't get mine mixed up.
Yeah.
No, they're really nice cars. They're a lot of trucks. A lot of the guys drive those big pickup trucks that are all souped up. That's
KG.
Hartman's got that. He's got that dialed in because he's a hunter guy too.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, KG. While you're wrapping up the Wild banter and we're on the front end, just go. I don't want you to be Nostradamus, but let's just look at the first series. You said 6 or 7. What are you going to stick with? That is 6 or 7, and the Wild come out on top. What are you going to go?
I've got the Wild in 6. I think you don't want to have to go down there for Game 7. I think the Wild right now have a chance to at least split the first 2 this coming weekend, and I think it's going to be a 6 games Wild victory, and then see what happens with Colorado. They're the Cup favorite. So I think people have been complaining about the playoff format. The silver lining is they're healthy right now. So you're going to face 2 of the best 3 teams in the league, but you're likely going to do it hopefully with a healthy roster while you're fresh. If you get through Dallas and Colorado, then you might just be on your way.
All right, we're going to Minnesota in 6.
Yeah, Minnesota 6. One last question.
Yeah.
On the team, I saw a fun thing where people were guessing who would have the biggest smile in the team picture. And did you see that little reel?
Yes.
And Marcus Foligno clearly had the biggest smile. Who is the biggest like fashion guy? Like who wears the most fashion forward outfits to the rink?
That's a good question.
I know.
Foligno would be in that conversation. Such a good-looking guy.
Yeah, he's got all kinds of Louis Vuitton bags and stuff. He's a little bit. He's a little precious there.
Well, until you get on the ice and you meet him in the corner, it's not so precious when he's looking to run you through the wall.
How do you know that, John?
I see it on on
the show.
No, on like Facebook things.
Oh,
I become really kind of into this Minnesota Wild team. I'm one of those.
It's cool. Yeah.
This is the hockey one, right?
That's the hockey
Got it.
team.
Just making sure.
Hockey is the game that they play on ice.
Oh no.
I just know there's some playoffs
Steve,
happening. I want to make
Steve,
sure.
do you have something prepared for
I
us
just came
today?
in hot. Yeah, I do actually.
Well, what is it today?
Well, I don't want to disrupt.
No,
the,
we're done.
the sports
Wild
plan,
talk. We've
the-
been waiting for you, the game
athletics
show
part of the
host.
show.
We purposely started early so we wouldn't
know.
have to subject you to the. By
I'm
the way,
just joking. I love the
Steve
Wild.
and I will be going to the Hill Murray Premier Auction.
Yeah.
With our moms.
Ooh.
We bringing our moms and
Yeah.
our wives.
Yeah.
And Lino Rulli is the MC at that event.
Oh, that's
Bam.
amazing.
Former, and I mean that's the guy. I
Yeah.
mean, you
He-
talk about a guy that can.
We've seen him speak in front of the Hill Murray folks before.
Oh, yeah.
Was that the same event? Or was that something
Can't
different?
remember.
Well,
He's good.
He knows what he's doing. he
He's
kills it.
He's
I'm
an
excited for
entertainer.
him.
He was in the circus.
Well,
he was.
You know?
Yeah, he was.
So what's our
The
game?
Catholic guy.
All right. So we have. I've prepared a little thing. Who knows if it'll be fun? We'll see if we can get KG
Oh, it'll
involved
be
before
fun.
Is it
we
a
leave.
long game?
I don't know. As long as we
Okay.
want to make. Depends on how fun we have. How much fun we
Okay.
have. We have a game. That is. It's another. We'll go around the room. Right. It's one of those kind of games where
Okay.
you can play. It's called. Turn awkward, rude, or negative moments into kindness wins
Oh,
on the fly.
okay.
This
And
is called.
do you want me to play the
Hold on. I'll
Okay, you'll
just set
say
this
it
up.
first.
It's
Okay.
called Kindness Comebacks. Let's hear
Okay.
that song. All right.
What the hell?
That's compliments to my friend Steven
Jeff.
Russell, right? This one is called Kindness Comebacks. We're all going to get thrown into the real life, annoying, awkward, and just plain rude situations.
Been there.
Oh yeah, put
Yeah,
those
yeah.
glasses on. Yeah.
And we've got about 5 seconds to respond, 5 or 10 seconds to respond with the most clever, disarming, kindness-powered comebacks you can come up with. No sarcasm, no cheap shots, just
I don't know about
high-level
that.
kindness
Only
under
5
pressure.
seconds.
Let's see who's got game.
Okay, let's start with KG.
Yeah.
So each host will go around, or each of our group here will go around, getting a situation, and they can do whatever they can do to respond best. Would it be? What's this?
Yeah, let's just try.
Do they want to do like Minnesota nice? Do they want to do dry humor? Do they want to go over the top with enthusiasm?
Yeah.
Do they want to be calm and wise, or slightly passive aggressive?
Let's be what we are.
Yeah.
Let's be what we are,
Let's be what we are.
Okay.
and then we will all judge whether it's escalated kindness, just empty,
Or made the matter worse.
or simply recovered, or made things worse. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Hoping for the last.
so who wants to go first? Who should we have?
Let's
go
have
first?
KG go
Yeah,
first.
KG.
KG's on the tightest timeline.
All right.
KG, how much more do we have of you before you have to go to your
At
movie
least
club?
half an hour. We got
Oh.
plenty of time.
All right,
Well,
Plenty
we'll
of
give
time.
we'll
Well, I
give
got a pedicure at 6:30, so
we'll give a KG. We'll give you a
Speaking of
couple of them.
precious.
Give you a couple of them.
Okay.
Are you driving right now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is perfect for you then. Someone cuts you off in traffic, then flips you off,
Oh.
and then you pull next to them again. How do you handle that in the most kindness empowered way, or do you not do it that way? What would you do?
Well, this day and age, I try not to escalate the situation. So if somebody which happens, right? They don't see it, they're not paying attention. I don't know why they were flipping me off, but if I get up there, I have to understand they're probably having a bad day. It's probably not me that caused this bad day. So I would probably just give them the thumbs up and the salute and hope, by not being a jackass and flipping them the bird, that their day gets better. But not a lot you can really do in that
Oh,
situation.
yes, there
other
is.
than
Oh boy.
escalate it and make it a lot worse.
I blow them a kiss.
That is your response. You've
that
told
is
that
my
before.
response. I blow people a kiss, and sometimes it really makes them angry, and then I will roll down the window and say, "Would you rather have a real kiss?" And then it gets real.
No.
Yeah,
wow.
I've done it.
Have you gone that far?
I have. Yeah, and they
you have
actually,
not.
yes, I have, and it makes them laugh.
Oh, perfect.
That
It disarms
escalated
it
No,
in your own
it
special way.
escalated, and then they laugh their butts off.
because you made them face how
Because
ridiculous
it's
they're
like,
being.
really, yeah. Would you like a real kiss? And honestly, I've gotten a laugh.
No.
Yeah,
Yes.
but if you had your fist up, that would be different. Like,
Yeah.
you want a real
No,
kiss?
They look at me and they
in a
and
smacker.
they kiss her. Okay, next
right,
one.
good.
This is fun. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
good.
I got a
I
lot.
kind of feel like I want to answer all of them.
Well, of course, yeah.
I know.
Because you like to hear yourself
And I-
speak.
Oh, you can. There are
Okay.
no rules.
Okay.
All right, let's give one to Dempsey here.
Yeah, Dempsey.
A coworker takes credit for your awesome idea in a meeting. Clearly, it's clear your idea.
Yeah.
How do you handle that as a professional man that you are?
Yeah. Are we in the meeting together? Like we're sitting next to each other and
Sure.
the idea comes up and this person says, "Hey, that was my idea, by the way."
No,
And
it's
that, like-
no, it's your idea.
No, I know, but
But she
is that,
claims that it's her idea.
It-
And
yeah,
it's probably
it
a
is or
woman.
her.
oh,
Sorry, why would I say that?
dang.
Wow.
Sorry, ladies.
Dang.
Chronicles.
You know what I would probably do? I'd probably look at her or him, right? And I would go, and let me tell you something. That was an amazing idea.
There you go.
That's perfect.
I would have been like, you came. That was so great.
You know
that
what
was
I
an
do?
amazing idea.
Or you could start drilling them with questions that of the nuances
yeah,
that
flesh
only
it
know
out.
only you
Yeah.
know the nuances,
No,
but you
that's
could
kind
really
of mean. That's kind of sarcastic.
That's
Yeah, that's
sarcastic.
a different angle.
Oh, I'll get there.
Tell
but
us
I mean,
more.
I would.
Sure.
I'll get there, but I'll start with really pumping the tires. Like,
Yeah.
you want credit for this thing?
Yeah,
That-
that
let
make
me-
the room laugh probably, right? Because
yeah.
everyone knows it was your idea.
I'm gonna give you all of the credit, and then you're pumping your own tires. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna be exposed. This
Or
person
maybe they didn't know
knows-
it. They just kind of
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's how I would respond.
Okay,
I would be like Jim Halpert on The Office and look down the camera,
a mugging.
right?
Yeah. Okay,
and
Jeff.
then
here-
I'd blow him a kiss.
Oh yeah, of course you would.
I guess it always ends in a
Back
kiss.
to the kiss.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's his go-to. Jeff,
That's
a
gross.
grumpy cashier barely acknowledges you and seems annoyed you're even there. How do you handle that one at the local market?
feel bad for her, probably her or him, and just want to give them some nice pleasantries and hopefully get them to break their pattern. I don't want them to.
Jeff, they
continue
seem
on
they
with
seem
that.
annoyed with you.
Oh, annoyed with me. Okay.
Yeah, they're annoyed with you.
All right. Well,
They're
that,
even
in
being
that
rude
case,
to you.
I confront them and ask
Okay.
them, is there a problem?
Did I
Oh.
say something?
Wow.
No.
Is there a
No,
I would ask them.
Is there some kind of a problem?
For a
Okay.
kiss, you
I would
him.
ask them, where are your condoms?
Oh,
Just throw something, or
Yeah.
I could use some tampons.
Jeez.
Could you
Oh.
show me something like that to
Yeah.
really just
You like to
disarming.
mess. You like to disarm it. You like to
Disarming.
disarm it.
I'm with John. Only I would go,
and I want the big ones.
I would. I would.
Make
tampons?
you use humor.
Jeez.
I would.
Good Lord.
I love that. I
Big
love
tampons,
that.
I guess.
I would go with something similar. I would say, do you smell that? Man, I do you smell that? I smell it. Do you smell? Is that what's annoying you? I mean, because it doesn't smell good. Well, maybe it's me. That's what I would say.
That's a good one.
What's that smell?
What would you do, KG?
Yeah.
You're a man of the people.
Yeah. Grumpy cashier.
Well, I would probably give him a smile and say, "Hey, it's great to see you. I hope your day gets better. Clearly, it's not going very good so far."
Oh,
And then
So-
and then a kiss.
I
Kind of an end tag to.
That's kind of nice Minnesota
I'm not.
way.
I'm not a big. I don't want to kiss anybody. And what if they want to kiss me? And then I'm in a bad position.
That's right.
let me ask you this.
John's the kisser.
Yeah.
Have you ever said, do you recognize me from TV?
No.
No?
No.
I would.
No.
Yeah.
That is.
I'd be wearing
without
all
a
my
doubt-
Fox Sports stuff just so
Oh,
everybody
God.
knows that it's me.
Oh, so no.
Okay.
Cringe. That whole cringe. Don't you know me like that? That is just a recipe for disaster. I have never uttered those words, and I never will.
Do you ever travel around with like a cordless microphone, just in case, like you could pull it out of your pocket
Next to the butter.
and just start interviewing,
next to the butter.
start interviewing the person.
Yeah.
That actually, if we could have like a hidden camera, that actually would be a fun. Like,
Uh-oh.
you know,
What
like
would you
remember on Seinfeld when the animal guy comes in and he goes, "Hey, where are the cameras?"
Yes.
Because he's doing this professional interview.
You get the Merv
we could go
Griffin
to, like,
now
Merv
back
Greenwood
Griffin,
Mall.
yes.
I
Yeah.
could have the microphone and like you guys could be recording it, but they couldn't see me or see you. And I started like interviewing like we're on like a broadcast, and then they started looking around like, what is this guy doing? Like they would think I was Ricky Birdsong. Remember, Ricky Birdsong was the Northwestern basketball coach that started going into the
Sure.
crowd when the Gophers were clocking Northwestern. He was like being the band director of the Gopher
Oh, my God.
marching band. I could be
that's
the
great.
broadcast version of Ricky Birdsong.
Okay, now see, this game is really.
It
We need to
sparks
do
a
this
lot.
more often.
You know, can I be honest, you guys?
No.
In the situation we gave Jeff, which you're in a store, the person's. I think honestly, how I really I try to approach anytime I'm with someone working in a store. I realize they work with grumpy people all the time. You know, and they can be grumpy. I probably wouldn't say anything. I would be pleasant to them. I would walk out and be a little like, man. I tell somebody, man, guy, you should have seen this guy. I would have probably been Minnesota, not say anything.
Yeah.
You know,
but bitch about him later.
a little bit. I
Yeah.
would have been like, man, the guy was so rude today. But I would try to pour kindness on him. I wouldn't be as bold as you. I know that's how you would do it. You'd
I'd ask
disarm
him,
it.
I'd say, you know, you got something in your nose. You should probably get, you know.
Let's get
But
Okay.
listen, I will
Yeah.
say this on that note. One thing that I always do, like legit, is I always call them by their name. They always have a name
Ooh.
tag.
That's a good.
I've been
And
doing
I-
that lately too.
And I always, no matter if I'm checking out or like maybe I'm calling somebody for some support from the bank or whatever, I repeat their name back to them so that I'm acknowledging their name.
Yeah.
And that always is.
I also look them
then
in the
you-
eye.
Yeah, and then you're humanizing them
Yeah.
because if you don't do that, then
I know what you
yeah.
could do.
Oh boy.
It's how you say their name. You could go, thank you, Brenna.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
Way
that's
to go.
not very kind.
Janice.
It's usually Gretchen.
John, I got one for you.
Okay, good.
I got one for you. This is a neighborhood. This is a John, Mr. Montemedi man here.
Okay, yeah.
A neighbor complains about something super minor
Yeah.
to you
Yeah.
again.
Oh, yeah.
So it's happened many times.
What would I say?
What is
Well,
your
what-
real?
what-
think about what you really would react to.
Well, I just want to ask. They're complaining to you about something you're doing.
I'm gonna let's make that up. Yeah, it's something that John has going on in his yard or with
That's
his
minor.
property somehow.
Well, that's not going to happen.
yeah.
It's not your
Best
shoveling.
looking lawn in town.
Yeah. So
No,
somebody
I-
comes up and says,
I
"Hey,
would probably say, are your meds off?
Oh.
Oh.
Wow, that's good.
what if you?
What if their meds are off?
What if it's really someone who is having a problem? What-
Yeah.
Maybe.
Would you
know what?
Be careful with the meds.
Would you say that to
Your
anyone?
meds on.
Let's see. Yes.
Picture a neighbor
Yep.
that you
Any
don't
neighbor
really.
that's going to attack me, the great
Well,
guy
it's not
that
an
I
attack.
am,
Yeah.
something is wrong with them.
But it's
and
something
my
that's-
guess is something that I did.
It's come up. It's again. So
it's again
something's happened
like, what
repeatedly.
Could it be?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I left my garbage can
It's
too
such a
long in their
foreign
yard.
scenario to him. He doesn't even know how.
Yeah.
to
I know. I don't even know how to
dare
react.
they? Yeah, a garbage can thing or something where you keep doing it, and maybe they don't understand. But how do you handle it in a way that is kind?
I would say, "Oh God, I'm sorry." You know what?
Would you?
Yeah, for sure. And
Well,
then
that's
I'd
different
ask
than-
if their meds are off.
after.
As I'm walking away,
Under your breath.
under
yeah.
my breath, but just loud enough for them to hear me.
Sure.
KG,
This
I
is
got one for you
fun.
because you meet a lot of people, you talk to tons of people, and I know you have like a way to say, "Hey, pal," or "Hey."
No, so what are some
does
of
he
your
say?
names that you use to people
Partner?
that you don't know?
Tiger.
What are your
partner, boss,
boss,
chief?
chief?
Oh, chief.
You ever use sport?
Hey, bud.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use sport. That reminds me of
Sport.
Caddyshack, Judge Schmales. And he was kind of annoying.
How about buckshot? Have you ever used that? Hey, what's up, buckshot?
That must be a Little Falls thing.
Yeah, buckshot.
And we don't talk like
I
that
don't
here
know
in this
if
big
I-
city.
This probably
I
doesn't.
usually go boss. I
All
make
right.
them feel like they're powerful.
All right, now flip that though, KG. Say you run into something. You're out of town. You're not, people. You're not known in this
You're
area.
not
You're somewhere
KG.
far away. You're not KG. Someone forgets your name mid conversation after you met them multiple times. How do you handle that?
I just reintroduce myself. It's happened. And, I just walk back up and say, yeah, Kevin Gore, good to see you again. And just move forward. It gets awkward otherwise. And I'm so bad with names that I appreciate when,
people remind you.
People are in that awkward spot because it feels horrible to not remember someone's name when you're probably, just met them recently and should know the name. So I do that, so I don't want to make them feel bad.
Kindness tip.
Yeah.
Never say nice to meet you to somebody. I know we've talked about
Yeah,
this.
this is come
Nice
up.
to see
Yeah,
you, right?
It's good to see you.
Why
Always
is it
good
rude to
see
say
you.
meet you? Because you've already met him.
Because you don't know if you've met them or not. And if you're a guy like KG, so
Yes.
KG's on the TV,
We've talked about
everybody
this
knows
before.
KG, but KG doesn't know everybody. And if he does, he just, he doesn't, it's always good to see you. Very popular with the people.
Right.
I would never say nice to meet you to anybody.
Well,
It's
especially
always good to see you.
Especially he's popular with the older people,
Right,
And
and
they
they have
don't
memories.
remember.
Yeah.
They don't remember.
You could use that all
But
day.
but can I ask the reverse? I really need this because I'm horrible with names, and I will be in conversations with people, and they're just recounting our experiences together, and
I got a
don't.
trick for that.
I have no idea who they are. I can't place them in my head, and I just need a name. I don't know what to do.
So here's, I have a trick for this.
okay, good. What
this is
it?
politeness.
I will say, but it's sort of a kindness to
Yeah,
acknowledge. I'm
yeah.
like, remind me again, what's your name? And they'll say their first name. And you go, no, I know Andrea, but what's your last name?
Ooh, that's good.
Fucking A, right? It is.
Oh my god!
Of course. That's a that's a
Wow.
good.
No, and then you're like, of course I know it's you, Monica. It's, no, what's your last
It's
name?
always women. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
It's always
well, I
women.
like to meet the women.
All right.
That is a really good tip.
Yep. So the kindness tip. Maybe we could have your buddy make a kindness tip. Kindness tip. Hey, we're having ourselves a kindness tip.
Yeah, so far they're kind of, their politeness and stuff. But again, this is kindness comebacks, right? These are
Okay.
kindness comebacks. This is a little more of a playful one, but I want to bring it up to you because you work
Yeah.
in an office environment often. You're
I
walking
do.
down hallways
Yeah,
with people.
right.
This is fun. This has happened to me too, but you wave at someone
Oh yeah.
who you thought was waving at you,
Yeah.
and they weren't. So this is an embarrassment thing. How do you handle that and save face? So you wave
Right.
because they're waving at you or
Yeah.
toward your direction, but it's
Yeah.
right past you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do?
So I then I wave with some real vigor.
Yes.
Right. I wave with some real vigor, and then what I do is I point at me, and then I point at them like, me? Is it me? And then
You pick me?
I make
Yeah.
it a bit of a sketch. Right. When I know it's not
Totally.
me, then I just go really
It's
into
embar-
it.
But you're by
Then what
yourself.
you could do, turn around and wave at the
Yeah,
person that they are waving. I
yeah.
could totally see you doing
Yeah,
that.
it's a
Turning
total,
it into a sketch.
It's a total sketch for me.
Here-
When instead of going, oh god, and then slinking off,
Yes.
no way, I'm
Here-
not doing that.
Here's the
Or
one.
like you smell your armpit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look. Here's the. I think I would do something very silly like that if
Yeah.
I was walking with someone.
Yeah.
But if I'm by myself, I think I'd be a little more like,
Oh, not me.
You
No.
Good for
I'm
you.
I'm entertained by myself.
KG, what do you do? I'm sure you've never been caught
Of
in that
course.
situation because people are generally
Oh,
waving
I'm
at you.
terrible. It's the worst for me because I never know when they yell my name if they're just watching Wild Games or if it's somebody I went to school with or something, and I just don't have that mechanism.
Sure.
John and I have a mutual friend from college named Mark Mackesy, and he is almost autistic in the way he can remember names and
Yeah.
conversations. And
Yeah.
I'm so jealous of that skill because I end up, whether it's in an arena or wherever we are,
Yeah.
seeing a bunch of people and I want to know their name.
Yeah.
And so what I normally do is if someone's not around there that can help me, at some point I'll just say, hey, it's on me and I apologize,
Yeah.
but I can't place your name. I can place your face. I know you, but I don't know your name. And then,
There you go.
we laugh and, I make fun of how old I am. And
That's
I'm
exactly right.
Or whatever.
put it on yourself.
You,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
have to say,
Self-deprecating.
age has caught up with me. Clearly, it's caught up with you. I don't recognize you anymore. So let's just acknowledge that life
Yeah.
has gotten the best of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
I would do
That's
that.
fantastic.
I would do
Yeah,
that.
I could hear you
because
doing
it's very disarming.
Yeah.
That's
That's your
I
key.
wouldn't do it to a gal. I wouldn't say that to a gal,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
to
yeah.
a guy, like I have said to people, it's like, God, you've gotten old. and I look the same.
Well, it
How
works
does that
with your
happen?
good friend or people you went to high school with. It works because you're all the
People
same
I don't really
age.
like that
Yeah,
much.
I got. I want to ask a question of you guys, but first I got a story about that. I was in actually
Because you don't look like you did in high school.
No,
I
heck,
hope.
no, I don't. And this is the story. I was in this restaurant, the restaurant Jeff, you and I went to, that
yeah.
Thai restaurant.
Yeah.
I was sitting there by myself, and this guy walks in, and I hadn't seen this guy in 30 years, and we played hockey together. And growing up in Little Falls, and I said his name like 2 or 3 times. And he's literally from me to you away, John. And he looks at me and it's not registering.
see it.
And I mean, we did sleepovers. We're on bus trip. I mean, like I said
Hell
his
getting
first
old.
and last name. And I said, sit down. Right. And he sits down. He
still
doesn't know me. And he's looking at me. And he's like, I just can't place it. Like, and I'm like, why did you sit down? And then,
Finally tell him.
then I'm like, I'm so-and-so. And he goes, oh my God. Yeah, I hadn't seen him in 30 years.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Oh, goodness. So here's my question, though. Well, I don't know how it is for you, KG, but like at different phases of my life, people called me different things. So if someone says, hey, Mike, I know it's like someone I knew in grade school. If it's like Jack, I knew it was somebody because you knew me as Jack in college. Like if it's Michael, like so I had different sort of names or nicknames at different stages of my life. So if someone yells at like
if people called me Fatso.
Oh yeah,
Hey, Fatso. I knew it.
did.
is that what it is? Yeah.
Do you guys? Very nice.
Do you guys have that? I mean, KG, do you have that? If someone says something to you, you're like, oh, that's a college buddy or anything like that?
Everyone's called me Gorg or Gorgie forever.
Okay.
The only time I know it's something different is this whole K-Train thing has caught fire the last couple of years. So if they say K-Train, it's no one I know.
I got
it's
it.
just a Wild fan,
Yeah.
and we have a chuckle. But the
Outside.
problem is, like, when Annika, my youngest, was little, I'm going back probably 15 years. We were walking through, I think it was Mall of America, and it was just her and I. We were doing some shopping. We were going to grab some lunch, and these 2 young, hockey fans, probably high school age, scream at the top of their lungs, "Gorg!" And my daughter, like, she's like, kind of hugged into me and like got scared and she's like, why are they yelling our name? And I'm like, oh, they're just hockey fans, they're all excited. And so then they came over and we did the pictures and yada yada yada. But at first, 7-year-old Annika was like freaking out.
Yeah, that's funny. That's
That will
funny. The
traumatize a little girl.
name is a big deal. Yeah.
Okay, let's get back on the kindness comeback game. Just a quick. Well, let's go.
Do a couple more and then let's be done. I got a pedicure.
Oh, wow. Do you really?
I do actually.
Wow. All right.
Oh,
I
I
didn't-
love it so much.
And
We
he
don't want to
needs
cut
it.
into that.
It's
time.
sandal season.
Jeff.
The owners
That's true.
would say, "What take you so long to get here?"
Oh, you did
These
not
are
do
these
that.
are only. I'm going to ignore that. These are only. These are some social awkward ones, but we get into a few others, and we can play this game again. But Jeff, this one's for you. You hold the door for someone, and they don't. They don't say thank you. You hold the door. They walk through. Not a word. What do you? How do you handle that? Or you just kind of give it an eye roll, or what do you do, Jeff?
I say you're welcome. And
Sarcastic.
That's a good one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would not. I it's not. I don't want to make anyone's day bad. So I that's pretty sarcastic. I have done that in the past, in my 20s, but I've mellowed it with age.
So if I let
talked about this.
somebody in when we're driving and I don't get the wave, I go with the Jerry Seinfeld, "Where's my wave?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they can hear you.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it fits. It fits the moment.
Yeah. Where's my wave?
Give me that wave. Okay, we'll go one more for you, John. Kindness comebacks. Last question. We'll play the theme song again, maybe.
Okay.
For fun. John, someone interrupts you 3 times while you're telling a story. This is your story.
Oh boy.
They're telling a story. You can't say, "Is this a long story?" to them because you're telling the story and they're interrupting you. How do you handle that
Oh boy.
maybe it's not a work thing. Maybe you're not
I
the
would
boss. You're not the
probably
boss.
Drop to the fetal position.
Really?
Well,
I don't think so. Let's say this, John. You're not at work. This is
Okay,
just
no.
because work. You're the boss, and they're not going to do that to you. It's just out there in the
well,
world.
most of the places that I go, I'm the boss.
Wow.
Like,
oh man.
Right.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Well,
here's what I would do.
Except
I
for
would say,
upstairs.
Please stop interrupting me. I have a very important story to finish.
Right.
And you keep interrupting me. I have the floor.
All right.
That's what I would do.
So
You've heard me do stuff like that, right, KG?
Oh yeah, on the podcast.
Yeah.
100%. And you're good. And no one's gonna like when you get going. Like it normally is a good enough story where people aren't normally going to interrupt you anyway.
That's right.
You've got a good way of telling stories.
I do like to hear myself talk.
So it's you're actually by making it very dramatic, like you're doing.
Yeah,
it's so absurd that it's going to make people
Right.
laugh.
It would be like Bill Murray-ish sort of.
Ooh, that's
Please,
yeah.
would you stop with the goddamn hammering? Remember?
Yeah.
Scrooge?
Yeah.
For the love of God.
That's good. I would say though that's, and I can picture that. I would say if someone's interrupted you 3 times, that means they're active listening. Maybe that's a sign of kindness. Maybe unless
you know what? I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah.
In fact, I like when people interrupt you and then they apologize for interrupting you. I will give them grace and say, "Well, this is how conversations work."
Yeah.
Sometimes
I like banter like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I talk often with introverts and extroverts, and both have their merits. And an introvert will let me talk and then listen and wait, and then I have to wait for them to respond. And they have a very carefully thought out thing. I know people like that. My wife is an introvert, but sometimes I like talk. My friend Steven's kind of an extrovert. We just kind of just jive.
an
We just keep
extrovert.
going.
Yeah.
We just keep.
That
I
dude's
like the
got
energy that wears you out.
Yeah,
But
he'll wear you out.
that I like that.
Oh, I know.
There's
Not
a
all the time.
sarcastic version. You can say, "Oh, did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?"
That's good. That's good.
Great line.
Wow. I love it.
Take note of that.
Or to be kind, you could go, I really want to hear what you're going to ask, but let me just finish, like
Yeah.
keep saying it, but
Yeah.
or say, "Shut the."
front door.
So hey,
Whoa.
before we conclude, I have to ask: have any of you watched The Pit?
Oh yeah.
I've been telling you about it for
for
years.
years.
What?
The greatest.
Have you watched it, KG?
No, what is it?
Oh,
Are you
geez.
serious? It's on HBO Max. It might be my
New
favorite show
It's
in a long time.
on the edge of your seat.
Well,
and
and
fascinating. and-
It's about the Pittsburgh emergency room and Noah Wiley, who used to work in Chicago, in the ER in Chicago. He's now working at an ER in Pittsburgh, but he's the boss.
Yeah.
But it is so well cast. Like those characters,
Yeah.
every one of those characters.
Well, John, you didn't. You go back and listen. We brought up the
I
Pit
know, that's
when
why I
you
started listening.
when you had one of the nurses on from
Dina.
Yeah, Dina.
Yes.
Dina is that nurse.
Oh
Dina
my
is
God,
that
yeah.
blonde nurse.
she's the head
For
nurse in a way.
sure.
Yeah.
She's such a badass. And my daughter Riley reminds me very much of the one kind of badass.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah,
What's her
she's
name?
sassy.
Totally sassy.
She has
She's
the
the
house
one that
and
calls
she's
him Huckleberry.
Yeah, Huckleberry lives with
Oh,
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Santos.
Santos.
Yeah.
She's so good. And that Huckleberry guy is so
Yeah,
good.
you're right.
I
We
heard on
just-
the last episode, didn't an ICE agent come in and take away some?
Couple
a couple
episodes
episodes
ago.
ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen the second season. I'm
Oh,
only on the
my
first
Lord.
season.
Ruined the
All right.
second
Way to
season.
go.
I don't.
All right.
Well, it's
Way
that's-
to go.
Well, I'll just say about it because I'm
Who did they
fascinated.
take? Santos?
I didn't
No.
see it.
No,
I
you
don't
have to
have
watch it.
HBO
No,
Max.
not
It's just
Santos.
they're
No.
kind of
No.
bringing the political angle into
Yeah,
it.
no, it's fascinating, and part of the reason why it's so good is you're invested in the characters and how they're doing it, but they're not. It's not their love lives and all this stuff. It's engrossing in each medical case that they're
There's a
dealing
lot
with.
of gross.
There's it's very
Yes.
gross.
Yes.
But you're on the edge of your seat and you find yourself fascinated with the medical aspect of what they're doing, and it's very well. They have experts that are on hand
Right.
while
Oh,
they're
yeah.
shooting. It's
Right.
Sure,
it's so
authentic.
fascinating. So
It's what it evolved.
gripping.
It's a lot of times you're watching a show and it's the relationship between actors, and this is just as much the relationship that an individual has with their own mental health
Oh.
around how they're dealing with
yeah.
the patient or the pace. A lot of it is about an individual's sort of mental health in that situation, and that's what's compelling about it. Not whereas most shows it's 2 people or 3 people, those relationships. In this show, it's how am I dealing with this chaos? And
Very
life and death.
complicated
It's really,
show,
it's
yeah.
And
really
the
good.
reason I bring it up is in many respects, it gives me many of the same feelings that watching Ted Lasso did.
Yes.
There are lots of oxytocin moments, like when one of the senior doctors say something nice to one of the younger docs and just hitting the nail on the head. Like, this is exactly what that person needed to hear at the time. I just love that stuff. And I honestly, I think there's something to be learned from just watching how people manage people.
Yeah.
Well, let me just say that season 2 goes even deeper in that. And there's a moment that just happened recently that, one doctor says something to another one, and it's so much of what that person needs to hear, and it's just emotional.
Oh, I love
it. They're building the tension up. You will love second season.
You'll love second season. And as far as oxytocin goes, with the humorous bend, but also rich with emotion, Shrinking.
My wife is
Watched
watching
it all,
She loves it.
Yeah, it's also you
That's
watch
Harrison
it.
Ford and
Yes, very, very, very good, and it's actually the same writers from Ted Lasso wrote Shrinking.
Oh, neat.
And you'll get sort of the same oxytocin hit. It's just a different
and it's offbeat,
setting.
and it's they swear and stuff, so it's good. It's more
it's
the
good.
script is good.
Yeah.
And just when I think it's sappy, they get you.
Yes,
Just I'm like, okay, and
just
then I
like
go,
Ted
man,
Lasso.
it's
just
good.
like Ted Lasso.
Yes.
KG,
Yeah.
and that's shrinking, not shrinkage.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
I was in the
That's right.
Well, shrinkage is a problem. That
Yeah,
goes in the
wait, I
pools,
don't
right?
want to watch a
I've
show
seen
about shrinkage. No, thanks.
That's right.
Not
He's
good.
an
All right.
encyclopedia.
No, but shrinking is a good show.
There we go. I think we've given them enough. We've given them
Nice.
more than they deserve. That's what I always
So
like
good
to
to
say.
be here.
Yes.
Get on the YouTubes.
Yes.
Smash that YouTube
Check out your
subscription.
shrinkage. And off we go.